Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am just unwinding from a long, work-filled day here in this beautiful location, and I just want to, in this very short video, to remind you of the importance of finding a fortress of solitude like this that you can come to, so that you can reflect, so that you can go into states of introspection. When you come out in nature like this, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a safe spot like this, it's much easier to enter into states of self-reflection, to enter into states of introspection, to get to the nitty-gritty of maybe some of the issues that you've been struggling to resolve. A huge part of my system that I follow, that I've put together, is spending time outside. This is something that so many of us don't do. And it's a very poisonous addiction, the addiction of being indoors constantly. The average American spends the majority of his or her life indoors, believe it or not. You spend 1/3 of your life indoors sleeping. You spend another large majority of your life indoors working. And on top of that, you spend another large majority of your life inside after work, unwinding, watching television, relaxing, you name it. So when you really look at the pie, ladies and gentlemen, in an unbiased fashion, if you're really honest with yourself, you'll come to the same conclusion that I did at one point, that I was spending a large majority of my life indoors. And what's scary is that it almost goes unnoticed. And time flies here in the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. You know why time flies? And the reason why I brought that up, that time flies, is that before you know it, you're fucking 50, 60, 70 years old and you've spent the majority of your life indoors. Do you want to know the secret to slowing down time? It's to get outside. It's to enter into tranquil states of consciousness by learning how to control your own mind, which is something that so many people don't have a grasp on. When you don't have control of your own thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, time flies. When you're constantly indoors, just killing time because you're bored, time flies. Watching all the television and all the nonsense, and before you know it, you're again 50, 60, 70 years old, and you've spent the majority of your life inside, under the artificial lighting, being fried to death, leading you to having something known as endless summer syndrome. We've talked about that in prior videos. Everybody that I've met, including myself, has endless summer syndrome, which is the natural byproduct of living in a house equipped with artificial lighting, telephones, modern smartphones, tablets, stuff that produces blue light, computers, etc. And when I said telephones originally, I meant smartphones. At least old telephones didn't have a bunch of blue lights on them. At least old cell phones didn't have a screen on it that you could, do God knows what on. Nowadays, your cell phone is a computer that you carry in your pocket that tracks you, that has you addicted to the dopamine spikes from all the social media, etc. So the Industrial Revolution and the advent of modern lighting has destroyed our health, ladies and gentlemen. Once the light bulb became cheap enough to put across the majority of the United States in their homes, businesses, etc., if you look at the statistics for health, they went right down the drain. People also started craving excessive amounts of carbohydrates as well, because of being in a state known as endless summer syndrome, which is caused by the artificial lights that tell your brain it's literally the wrong time of day and the wrong season. So if you want to learn more about that, you need to watch more of my videos. I talk about this constantly. This is one of the #1 assaults on your health, being inside constantly. And it's not just because you're inside. It's because of the lighting systems and the dirty electricity and the sheer amount of electromagnetic fields that are in the modern house. And we're quickly entering into a state where the homes are now considered smart homes. They shouldn't be called smart homes, because the technologies that run these smart homes are far from smart. They're nefarious. And for those who don't know, in layman's terms, a smartphone is a house that is basically a computer. A house that greets you, that tells you jokes if you ask it, like all these home pods and all this other, it's insane. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this channel, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to, discuss it. So as we evolve into the future, we devolve out of our natural environment, which you're seeing on the screen right now. Now, I'm not saying that we should just be hippies and spend all of our time outside. No. But the ratio of time we spend indoors in comparison to outdoors is disgustingly out of balance. And as I said, time flies when you're not living the way you're supposed to be living. It's a very strange thing, and I don't know how to explain it, ladies and gentlemen. But just like this water that you see reflecting the trees, when you come out here and it's still like this glassy water, it causes you to reflect. You naturally breathe a little bit deeper naturally, again, just by being outside, and your thoughts become more stable. And when your thoughts are more stable, you live in the present moment. And when you live in the present moment, or at least closer to the present moment, you don't live in the future, you don't live in the past and live in, I regret doing this and 10 years ago and this, that, and the other. I wish I had this, that, and oh my goodness. That's why time flies. It's because you're not living in the present moment. And when you're not living in the present moment, ladies and gentlemen, opportunities slip right between your fingers. And it also equates to you not having or exerting power over your own mind, over the present moment. Hope that makes sense. We need to focus on what we can control. When you live, for instance, in the past, in regret, and you constantly live in some poisonous memory, maybe it was something you did, some immature action, whatever it is. When you live in the past and you keep your mind in that gear, you not only miss the opportunities in the present moment, but it drives addiction. It drives all of these things to numb the pain of what happened. The future is not in our control. We can influence it. The past is absolutely not in our control. You should not try to worry about things that are not in your control, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, build your fortress of solitude on things that you can control. You absolutely can control your exposure to toxic lighting. You absolutely can control getting off your ass and getting rid of the video games, and instead coming out to a place like this and learning how to regain the power of your own mind. You can come to a place like this, ladies and gentlemen, which literally by default instills reflection and calm. I mean, look at even the water reflects the trees next to it. When you come out here, it's kind of like the doctrine of signatures. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of what that is. I don't want to ramble about it, but look it up if you want to understand what I'm talking about right now. It's like the doctrine of signatures. You come out here and naturally, you reflect on your life, and it's reflecting the trees. With nature, ladies and gentlemen, oftentimes there's symbolism everywhere. Kind of like how certain foods, just like within the doctrine of signatures, that are good for your brain, they sometimes look like parts of the brain. Or, tomatoes work on a specific region of your body, you name it. That's how nature works. What we're seeing is largely a reflection, a hologram of what's going on within our own bodies. But you can control a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You can control what you eat. And yeah, you might not be perfect at first, but here's the thing. When I say you can control, like for instance, what you eat, you're going to make we all make mistakes while we're learning to exert more control over our lives. That's a natural byproduct of learning to control your life. Don't think that because you fuck up the first time or even the first 10 times that you're a failure. We struggle along the path of mastery, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to be able to be perfect right off the bat. So when I say control, if you're trying to be a better version of yourself and you fail, and it's a genuine mistake, that counts, ladies and gentlemen, as that's you exerting control. That's you learning how to have control. It's when you make it's when you intentionally make mistakes. That's when you get into trouble, ladies and gentlemen. So that's kind of hard to explain. But we'll get into that in the near future. I don't want to ramble about that right now, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm saying is that the world awaits you. And you can indeed slow down time. The way that we experience time is largely dictated by our definitions of time, our perceptions about time, how we relate to time, how we view time in the world around us, how we look at things decaying. By looking at things decaying and by watching other things age, we create definitions that become subconscious beliefs that actually initiate the aging processes within us. We can slow down time, ladies and gentlemen, by how we define time, by what we believe time is. But getting out here is that's how you start changing your definition of time. You see, everybody is on the rat wheel in the matrix. When you come out here, you get off the rat wheel and you do some much needed work. The amount of things that you can do in a place like this, just by yourself in isolation, are profound, but you've got to start. We've got a train coming here, folks. I'm going to wrap this one up. I love you all, and may peace be with you.